bear in mind, guys, before I jump into the root chakra, that you'll find that when one area is deficit or is blocked, it often means that another area is dominating. So as we go through this, you may be able to identify the areas that are blocked, because there may be more than one, and usually there is. And as a result, which ones are actually dominating over that. Okay, I'm also burning 7 chakra incense to really set the tone in here, but you can actually find incense specific to each chakra if you like. I'm sure there's plenty online. So, the root chakra, the star signs associated with the root chakra are Taurus, Scorpio, and Capricorn, and the key word for the root chakra is accepting, being. It's about your identity, and when the root chakra is balanced, you accept nature's ebb and flow, right? You surrender to the trials and challenges because there is this certain wisdom about you. You've experienced certain situations, and you know that the next season is going to come, and with that season it will bring nourishment and celebration. So it's all about really leaning into the ebb and flow of nature's cycles, Earth's rotation, the ever-changing circumstances around us. They don't change who we are on the inside, even if things are changing on the outside. It's about being present, it's about being aware and seeing the true reality, taking stock of situations. And you can be unperturbed by those situations because you know what your morals, your values are, you know what your standards are. So if you're, let's say the root chakra basically links you to the physical world. And it is the foundation, the core essence of who you are. It embraces like your self-expression, desire for security, consistency, what else? Survival, ambition, safety, and stability. So if you're actually finding that there is an imbalance and you feel fearful, that you are unsafe, that you feel fearful, that you can't trust those around you to provide you with the security that you need, and you can't rely on anyone else and you want to do it all yourself. It's all about the ability to, that you want to do it all yourself, then there is definitely an imbalance in this area. You find that you're inconsistent, consistently inconsistent, that's another sign that there's an imbalance. And you desire security so much that you will not accept anyone into your environment just in case they shake that up. Now, the element associated with the root chakra is the earth element. And if we have a look at the earth element, it's basically the pivotal point which all the other elements encircle and spin around. And it represents the same thing. It represents that sense of stability and balance within the body, the thoughts, the emotions, and of course spirit. When it's balanced, there's a sense of harmony and peace, which... there's a sense of harmony and peace. It's like, yep, you do your thing over there. That's okay. I know who I am. I know what I want. I know where I'm going. I know what my passions are. I know that no matter what anyone decides around me and no matter what challenges I'm faced with, I know that I can go back to my foundation, to my core essence, and I can recalibrate and I can work through this season and see the opportunities that are in front of me. Right? So that's the root chakra. Let's move on to the sacral chakra now. So the signs associated with the sacral chakra are Cancer, Libra, and Scorpio. Woofed. And the words associated with it are I feel. And that's what it's all about. It's our connectedness to our feelings and our emotions, and we share those quite easily with those around us. It's the center of sexual energy, creativity, and pure emotion and passion. Our masculine and feminine polarities also live here, and when properly regulated within us, and there is an equal reciprocity between these two polarities in our feelings and emotions, between the masculine and feminine polarities, we can also we can also see that in our external environment. So if you're finding that, you know, those the people that you're surrounded by aren't reciprocating emotionally, and you're not feeling connected to them on an emotional level in the way that you would like to, then maybe it's time to have a look within to see how your masculine and feminine polarities are at, you know, whether they're actually in balance or whether they're properly regulated, because one might be dominating over the other, and as a result there is this block when it comes to creating this emotional connection with the people around you, intimate partners included, right? So this is where true emotional connections take place, that sense of belonging, that sense of understanding, because we know what our worth is. We know that we're worthy of receiving, and we give equally because our polarities, our masculine and feminine polarities, are in balance and regulated. We know who we are, what inspires and ignites pure passion within us. We're not afraid to share, to further explore things that ignite passion. We're not afraid to let passion like pulsate and circulate through us, igniting spontaneity, sensuality, and it's also the center of personal expansion. And those with a balanced sacral often are friendly, kind. They allow themselves to be vulnerable and share their feelings without inhibitions. And they're comfortably connected to life, and they find it easy to connect with those they want to connect with and have that sense of belonging. The element that's associated with the sacral is water, and the emotion associated with water is fear. So the essence of the fear emotion is of survival, self-preservation and protection. But when it's in excess, or when fear sets in, we often compare it to feelings of coldness. We recoil, we retract, we become reclusive. And depending on our disposition, we might, like I said, become reclusive. We might run away, or we may just not say a word or not do anything. We might just put up with a situation that we feel really uncomfortable with. This stems from not having that inner security and stability that comes with the root chakra, which then trickles over to those feelings of fear. Imbalances as well also includes us in the water element. Well, fear is essential, let's say, to our survival, like I said, and it enables us to navigate situations with care and caution. And I guess those with an imbalanced water element and that experience fear in excess often have phobias and a lack of courage. And these phobias or fears can sometimes feel feelings of jealousy. You hold on to emotional disappointments resulting in grudges or anger. You may have sexual and emotional extremes, whether you're addicted to sex or you have a codependent personality emotionally, or you suppress your natural need and it goes in the complete opposite direction, where you completely disengage from both sexuality and sex and engaging with others consistently. So that's the sacral. Let's move on to the solar plexus. So the star signs associated with the solar plexus are Leo, Sagittarius and Virgo, and this has got to be one of my favorite spiritual centers. In fact, I really resonate with the solar plexus, maybe because I have a sun in Sagittarius, that's why, but everything about this center I can really relate to. I feel it inside of me as I speak the words. Like I said, probably because it's my star sign, my sun sign. So feelings, Leo, Sagittarius and Virgo are the star signs, and the key word associated with the solar plexus is I can. And it's a feeling. This is where feeling and being from our sacral and our root are integrated, right? This is the melting pot. This is what I like to call the melting pot of spiritual and earthly aspects. Impulses of passion and desire from our environment, meet impulses of wishes and dreams from above. This is the seat of self-esteem, and when balanced, we feel confident, we feel powerful, we feel optimistic and self-assured. We act on our desires and passions. We know who we are and what we want. Okay, so they all start to come together. We feel whole. We have an inner calmness and peace, and are tolerant of those around us and accept them for who they are. And our environment reflects a balance of the material and spiritual world. You often feel that you can bring anything into fruition with balanced solar plexus. This is that real optimism that just takes over, and you feel that nothing can stop you from getting whatever it is that you want to pursue. You think it, you feel it, you become it basically. So when imbalanced, we basically don't trust the natural flow. Okay, we don't trust the natural flow. We resist. We need to dominate and be in control of our external environment, and have a great need for validation from those outside of us. And our value is often, it's determined by our material world or by what others think of us. The element associated with the solar plexus is fire. No surprise there. And when imbalanced, there is an imbalanced approach to relationships or situations can often look like coldness, disinterest, lack of desire, the inability to experience, the inability, I should say, to express any concern or empathize and show real care for someone else. This is someone that often has really taken a blow at their confidence, their self-worth, and they've been rocked at the core, and they come across as being extremely cold, and they come across as being extremely disengaged. They may seem very, very passionate. They approach things with a lot of vigor and a lot of impulsiveness, but they're not one that you can really, really make that emotional connection with. And if you know anyone, or you are experiencing some of these things, and there may be a need to balance out the solar plexus. But when someone is balanced in this area, they bring a lot of warmth. You know, with fire, a balanced fire element brings a lot of warmth. It brings desire. It brings a lot of love. It brings comfort, and it gives rise to a very strong heart. And when I say very strong heart, I mean both metaphorically and physically, because it's also associated with the pericardium and the heart. Anyway, I won't go into that. That's another topic for another day. All right, let's move on to the heart chakra. Okay, so the star signs associated with the heart chakra are, can you see that properly? Yeah, the heart chakra are Leo and Libra, and the key words for the heart are I love. No surprise there. It's the center of acceptance, of trust, of love, of hope, of forgiveness, understanding, and here is where everything is processed into feeling, thoughts, desire, being are all accepted. Thoughts, desire, passion, all of that stuff is from your higher centers to your lower ones are processed into feelings. It's also a place where these thoughts and these feelings are accepted free of judgment, and self-forgiveness takes place, where we nurture, we love and accept each aspect of ourselves, including fear and self-consciousness. allowing us to transmute those negative emotions and neutralize and start a healing process through that acceptance of suffering that takes place. Okay, so it's a very, very healing center. And when balanced, you basically accept and love yourself and others as they are. You accept where others are on their journey and accept the reality of a situation as it is. As much as, you know, you want someone or something, you understand, you know, that everything has its time and its place and everyone is walking their own journey, and you respect those. You have a balance between your materialistic and your spiritual worlds. Now, when imbalanced, you have a motive, you have an agenda to benefit your own personal desires. So you want an outcome, you have a goal, and you are working towards achieving that goal, whether it be through manipulation or whether it be through downright trying to change someone's mind as to why they should be with you, or they should do certain things that align with your purpose and what your heart really desires, right? You find it difficult to release. You find it difficult to heal and let go of matters that basically don't align with your path. An extreme case is you become very unforgiving and very judgmental of others, and you're basically unable to receive and reciprocate love, yet you really desire it. It's that desire to want something that you're not getting and that you don't have. So the element that's associated with the heart chakra is air, and when balanced, you're able to release the old and that which does not serve you or is stale from your life. This leaves you receptive to the pure, the new, granting you vision and to see yourself in your true essence and perceive the true nature of your environment, right? It is a very transformative type of energy, and it's through that ability that the heart chakra has of accepting, forgiving, healing, trusting. It's going through those phases that allows you to transform and receive what it is that you want to receive. It is seeing things and accepting them nonetheless, no matter what the situation is. And when imbalanced, the air element often feels depressed, can be stubborn, has trouble setting healthy boundaries. And these boundaries, these types of boundaries that are referred to within the heart space are the ones necessary to create space for the vital energy that comes from above to nourish, to bring tranquility and inspiration and passion to flow into it. It allows that space. It needs that space to allow all the other elements to come in and transfer those qualities into feelings. I hope that makes sense. Moving on to the throat chakra. The throat chakra is associated with the star signs of Gemini, Taurus and Aquarius, and the key words are I express. And I just want to take a moment to thank those of you that have stayed on for this long during this little intro and a brief overview of the chakras. If you've stuck around for this long, you're obviously really dedicated to your journey to personal development and spiritual development, and I really want to celebrate that. And to do that, I'm willing to give away 3 15-minute free readings to those of you that email me. My email's in the description box below, and the first 3 that I receive are the ones I'll be giving away. The first 3 I receive are the ones I'll be giving away the free reading to. I just feel that you're definitely worth investing that free reading in. So please do reach out. So this is the center where feeling, emotions, passion and being are expressed. It's a center of communication, and it offers the space for self to enable inner reflection with objectivity. When balanced, the throat chakra allows someone to know when it's time to speak, when it's time to be expressive, and when it's time to be silent. And they know this by listening to their intuition and trusting their inner voice. When imbalanced, the throat chakra often is you often feel that no matter what you say, never seems to be understood. You're not getting through in a way that is with clarity, or you're afraid to speak up in case you'll be judged and rejected, and you often feel uncomfortable with silence, right? Now, the element that's associated with the throat chakra is ether. And I like to call this the gateway, for me anyway, because ether gives all the other elements a place to exist in. It offers the power to speak our values, our passion, our desires, our love, you know, and what ether actually means is space or emptiness. And what the throat chakra actually does is it offers us the ability to fill the space with the vibration of speech or inner dialogue, and allows us to become one with ether and transmit the essence of our being energetically in that space between spaces. And also, when ether is balanced, there is this quality of true expansiveness, unlimited creativity. In saying that though, no matter how powerful ether may be, it can't be harnessed in the absence and the characteristics, let's say, of all the other elements. And when imbalanced, you basically don't give the other elements enough space to exist. You're suppressing them, and you spend way too much time in your head forming a sense of reality that doesn't exist and that isn't true to the core essence of who you are, and your environment is based on a false sense of reality. All right, so let's jump into the third eye chakra. So the star signs associated with the third eye are Sagittarius, Aquarius, and Pisces. And the key words are I know. This is a center which connects us with a part of creation that's beyond science, right? And physical manifestation. It's this knowing in spiritual matters, and that passes down and influences all the other parts of our individuality. And when the third eye chakra is balanced, you have this level of awareness that's far beyond yourself, and spirituality and intuition are actually a part of your everyday life. It's not like you have to make time to practice meditation or to practice certain things. You do them throughout your day-to-day life within your environment. It's a part of your being and existence. You feel connected to a cause that's far greater than yourself, and you know that the role that you play is basically vital, and there is purpose to your existence. Now, when it's imbalanced, we often reject spirituality and we focus on science and intellect. We can only see as far as something can be proven and only process the surface result or meaning of a situation. Intuition is completely stifled, distrusted, and rejected. And the element that's associated with the with the third eye chakra are actually all the elements. Both the third eye and the crown chakras encompass all of the elements. One cannot exist without the other, and all of them cannot exist without the one. So it's in essence a total unity and bridge between all the chakras, where there is a flow of energy, and there is also a balance within each and every one of those. All right, let's jump into the crown chakra. So the star signs associated with the crown are Capricorn and Pisces. And the key words for the crown chakra are I am. Now, this, as we go on, the explanations become a lot, I suppose, they're not as involved. Things become very simple, okay? And that's entirely part of the process. When we truly identify who we are, who I am, then choice, opportunity, all those things become extremely simple, and we go with the flow, and everything seems to fall into place, and it's not as complicated. And it's true when it comes to the crown chakra also. Here you are connected with the universe. You basically possess knowledge beyond words and intellect. You're interfacing with cosmic energies and pure consciousness. And when balanced, you feel unified. You know that you are a reflection of the divine, and so too is your environment a reflection of the connection you share with that universe. And the explanation for the crown chakra is as simple as that. You are part of something far greater than yourself. And so you also play a role in that universal vibration. And if you choose to really embrace and work through those spiritual centers, by the time you're able to really reach the point, you know, where you have that consciousness that your purpose here is far greater than what you are here to achieve as a single entity, and you embrace the fact that you're here to achieve something as a collective energy, your sense of belonging, your sense of awareness, your sense of giving, gratitude, love, passion, trust, all those things are so much easier to access. All right, guys, that's it. Let's finally jump into this reading. Thank you so much for sticking around. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so let's jump into the base or the root chakra. So regardless which area of your life is causing you, let's say, anxiety or worry, so there's an imbalance here, right? Overthinking, you could be feeling that all the energy that you're putting into, you know, this repeating thoughts, obsessive thoughts are making you feel sluggish, you're foggy, you feel disoriented. Let's have a look and see how you can work through this space. Regardless of which area of your life this is affecting, let's get some messages on how you can work through that. Okay, what have we got for the base chakra? Beautiful. So this has to do with whether or not, it has to do with your stability. So no wonder you're being affected by, you know, your root chakra has been is blocked or is being affected at this time, and you're anxious and you're worried and you're overthinking. There's something that you feel that is beyond your control, and you're not feeling grounded, you're not feeling safe, and you're not feeling stable. You know, you're feeling quite uncertain about a union, whether you're in a committed relationship at the moment, whether you're, you know, in a committed relationship and things are really rocky and you just don't know which way this is going to go. Pardon me. Or whether you're, you know, thinking about an opportunity that you have with someone, and a lot of hope has been put into what you have imagined this to manifest into, and something has changed course, it's gone a different way, and it's really rocked you out your foundation, right? You don't know whether or not you're going to be successful in whatever it is that you want to achieve when it comes to this union. And a lot of time is spent thinking about what action someone else is going to take, how their decision is going to impact what you've imagined this to turn into. So a lot of time is spent in, you know, things are not at real face value. We're talking about dreams. We're talking about the hope and the, you know, those the imagination of what this could be. So based on those thoughts and based on those dreams and you know, whatever it is that you want to manifest, there is so much energy that's been put into the end goal. There is so much energy that's been put into that result that, you know, there is room for a lot of disappointment because we're not facing the reality of the situation. And so Spirit, the message I'm getting for you is it's time to really focus on the present. It's time to focus on the now. Pull all your energy out of your head and into your present environment. Focus on awareness in the here and the now and what you can control on a day-to-day, making one decision at a time. Pardon me. Oh my goodness. You may also be wanting to speak up, or you feel that there is something that you are hoping to communicate, but you're holding yourself back from communicating it because of this fear of where it's going to take you, where that conversation's going to take you as well. So potentially there is obviously another area that you could be blocking, or a spiritual center that you could be blocking as a result. The throat chakra being one of them. So the message I'm getting for you is maybe focusing on the here and now, practicing awareness when you find yourself really going into your head and you find yourself obsessively overthinking and then causing, you know, anxiety within yourself based on these thoughts that you're having that are not in existence. Pull yourself out of that energy by, you know, doing something that brings you some peace, some peace within your headspace, whether it be singing, whether it be going for exercise, whether it be picking up the phone and calling a friend. You could potentially, you know, put something in place where you speak to a friend that you trust in advance and you say, hey, look, I'm trying to work through some stuff. Don't be surprised if I just pick up the phone randomly and I call you just to say hello. I'm trying to stay out of my head. So allow those around you to help you face the reality of the situation and tackle each scenario as it comes up. Some of the other practices you could possibly, I guess, apply that can help or enhance this process could be burning some essential oils that really help us work that energy into the root chakra. A cedar, cypress, what else? Myrrh is another one. Clove is another one. So burning these types of essential oils. Another thing you could do is you could start carrying around some crystals if that's something you resonate with. And some of them are, for the root chakra, would be bloodstone, garnet is another one, smoky quartz, ruby. They're the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Now, when we also start to think about these, when we also start to think about things that aren't in effect our reality, we live in a state of anxiety, right? We're living in the future of what could be, what the potential outcome could be, and then it triggers these hormones in our body, and our body sees it, or our brain sees these as perceived threats or threats, and it really goes into the whole, you know, sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, freeze, and a lot of adrenaline is flooded through our body. That's also something to consider about understanding the difference between what's a perceived threat and what's a real threat. Can it really threaten your safety? Can it really threaten your security? What's the worst outcome that can be here other than feeling hurt? Are we going to be out of a house and a home? And if that's the case, taking the steps through practicing awareness and being present allows you to work on the here and now and the steps that you need to take to, secure your safety, let's say. Just a few suggestions, guys. So let me just pull out a card to really get this started for you on what energy you could surrender right now that can help you through this. If you're having trouble working through your emotions and you're finding that, you're living in your headspace a lot and it's dominating, it's definitely dominating, then feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you work through and lean into emotions rather than allow your headspace to suppress them and to ignore them, only causing further anxiety. Okay. What's the energy you would need to surrender right now to get this ball rolling? What's the first step that you could take? Surrender complete healing. Surrender to complete healing. Open fully to the loving, compassionate forces of the universe that support your physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. I'm going to hold that card up for you guys. Let me just focus the camera. So feel free to take a screenshot of that. You can really meditate on that energy. Think about look at the colors. See what feelings come up when you are, meditating on the energy of this card and its message and how it could apply to you, and allow those feelings to take you wherever they need to take you and explore that space. Open fully to loving, compassionate forces of the universe that support your physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. So the message I'm getting from this card, as well as the rest of the cards and the channeled messages, is that, facing reality is the first step. That is going to open up the door to really leaning into the feeling that comes from accepting a reality. And it could be something as far as your dream not going in the direction that you want it to go in right this very moment. It doesn't mean it's not going to go there, even with this specific person. It just means that right now it's not heading in that direction. So it's about realigning, resetting, and, based on this truth that you now know, after maybe what's been uncovered, or the changes that this whole union is undertaking, let's say, build a new path based on this now truth, rather than holding on to and resisting the natural ebb and flow that you are being pushed towards. So it's just about resetting, realigning. The end goal can still be there. It just doesn't necessarily have to be in exactly the way that you imagined getting there. I hope that makes sense. All right, guys, I'm going to jump into the sacral chakra now. Okay, so the sacral chakra, I'm going to pop these cards away. Now, a lot of you may also resonate with, may also be feeling blocked in this area as well. And it manifests in the form of, when our stability or our security is really being rocked and our foundations are being rocked, then we can start to experience excess fear about our survival, phobias, and a lack of courage in taking the next step towards whatever feels right or is right for us, because we fear that we don't have what it takes to meet those challenges on our own. So they kind of work, each one works into the other. So let's have a look and see with the sacral what the messages are here. So for those of you that are feeling at the moment an excess in fear, you're finding that you just are not feeling particularly confident right now, right? It's really stifling your ability to express passion, to go ahead and really revel in those feelings of sensuality and sexuality because of past experiences or trauma. And this could be with someone you're currently connecting with. This could be with someone that is new in your life, or you want to meet someone new and you feel that you're being held back. This could also have to do with work. So if you have been rejected time and time again in work, you may be lacking the confidence that you need to really show up in a way that, you know, highlights your uniqueness and your differences and your creativity and what, you know, juicy stuff you can bring to that environment. All right. And with that, the passion and desire, you know, the passion isn't there to fulfill the desire in a particular role or to take the next step in an intimate relationship. Okay, so let's have a look and see. How can we work through these fears? How can we work through any phobias or the lack of courage that you might be feeling, or the disconnection that you might have between your masculine and feminine polarities? I'm wondering if we've got one more for you. No. Divine Feminine. Surprise, surprise. Divine Feminine. There is a fear associated with allowing yourself to receive, because there is this feeling that maybe you're not worthy. And you know what? The sacral chakra is the seat of self-worth. It is that, you know, it's the seat of self-worth and creativity as well. Okay, because we're ignited by passion towards the things that inspire us, and as a result it is a creative process, right? And we have the Divine Feminine here. We have the Empress, who is all about love, who is all about understanding, who's all about receiving. She's all about nurturing whatever comes into her environment to give it life. This is where you know, the seeds are nurtured and cared for, and, you know, if they need more sun, then, you know, the Empress will make sure that they're planted and placed in the right spot, or transplanted to the right spot. I think you get my gist. So the Divine Feminine is an essential part of really igniting life into the creation of the dream, of the aspiration, of that goal, to keep it alive. And I feel that at this time there is so much fear and codependency and lack of courage that is completely stifling the Divine Feminine within you. And this could have to do with the fact that there has been trauma. And this trauma has really caused you to put up this barrier that doesn't allow love in, and as a result doesn't even allow love out, doesn't allow you that equal reciprocity between the masculine and the feminine energy. So if you are finding right now that you're having a lot of trouble connecting on an emotional level with the masculine, this could be because you are dominant in your masculine energy, and the masculine energy is attracted or is magnetized by the feminine energy. And so going within yourself to really I guess balance, really work through that sacral chakra and balance your Divine Feminine and your Divine Masculine is going to be the key in you being able to receive whatever it is that you desire. And this doesn't only affect one area of your life. This is going to trickle over to every area. This fear is a defense mechanism. You automatically jump into fight, flight, freeze response the minute you feel that someone is going to, I guess, going to come close to this feminine energy, which is wounded. So the Divine Feminine is wounded. She needs to be healed, and the only way she can be healed is, I guess, if you acknowledge her presence first of all and value her presence, and without judgment, accept where she's currently at and what she's feeling. Acknowledge her. Allow her the space to exist, right? So if you're finding that you're not being acknowledged, that you're not, you're taking up the space that you take up isn't valued, that there isn't a respect for the things that you give, for the way that you nurture and you love, and it's not being reciprocated, it's because it's not being reciprocated from the inside between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Okay, very strong message for you guys on this one here. So, practicing, applying practices that really allow you to embrace the divine feminine energy is going to be very helpful. There's a lot of stuff online, even on YouTube, about the divine feminine, and I also do a lot of work with the divine feminine, but I'm not going to get into that right now. If it is something you wanted to further explore with me though, healing the wounded divine or the wounded feminine and allowing her space to exist in a masculine dominated world or internal world, feel free to reach out. I'd love to do that with you. But practices that really allow you to drop into your body. The divine feminine is about feeling and expression through feeling, not expression through thought. Thought is about, what do I do? What's the next step? It's very objective, it's very analytical, it's a very masculine energy. Divine feminine is about expression through feeling. It's about leaning back and allowing the abundance to come in the divine feminine, rather than leaning out and reaching out, trying to find solutions, trying to bring it and pull it in. So to start off with, I guess what you could really do is try and practice every time you think about finding a solution to something that's causing you to feel anxious, to something that's causing you to lack courage. To start off with, what you could do if you're lacking the confidence because of what you've experienced, instead of pushing it away, acknowledge those feelings. Take your, drop those thoughts, take that energy that you have swirling around in your head, drop it into your sacral chakra, right? Drop it into that space there. Breathe some space in there to allow the divine feminine to communicate with you what the feeling is, and make that free of judgment. And you don't need to fix it. You don't need to change it. To start off with, you simply need to acknowledge it so that the divine feminine feels valued. And then from there, you could also do some things such as, burning those essential oils that really enhance some energy and flow through the sacral. Some of them are, let's see, sandalwood is one, ylang ylang is another. If you do resonate with crystals, you could also carry with you some moonstone, carnelian, tourmaline. What else could you do? And of course, I'm going to pull out a card for you to see what energy you need to surrender to right now to really kickstart this process. And you can meditate on that energy of this card as you're listening to frequency music for the sacral chakra. Let's say burning your incenses, burning those essential oils, harnessing the power of those crystals. You can also meditate on this card to really kickstart that process. All right, what energy do you need to surrender to start off with right now? Surrender to the magic of who you are. This is who you are. Guys, this is very powerful. We all have magic in us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that can come from just being you. Do you see? Self-worth and uniqueness, something we just spoke about earlier. Let me focus the camera on that card. That's absolutely beautiful. You know, to kick this off, to really start this, and you know, when you create that space, when you breathe space right into your sacral chakra, imagine it expanding, and as it expands, the divine feminine, invite the divine feminine to come up. Divine feminine is about feeling. Allow your feelings to rise to that surface. And in that process of acknowledgement, just remember that you are unique. Think about the things that do make you unique. As you identify what makes you you, your true essence of who you are, right? The things that matter most to you, these two are starting to mush into each other now, okay? As you start to explore that, your confidence, your passion, your sensuality will start to develop. Beautiful. All right, guys, I'm going to move on. I'm going to go into the solar plexus now. I don't know if you guys watched the beginning when I was giving context to all of the chakras, and I mentioned that I really do resonate with the solar plexus. It represents my sun sign. I really feel the energy of the solar plexus, and it works both ways for me. Just as, you know, we have a balanced spiritual center, we can also have imbalances in that same one. So for me, the solar plexus, and this will differ for everyone, right? But you will resonate more with a different spiritual center at different times of your life. I have found that throughout my entire life to date, the solar plexus are one of the ones that I most resonate with, and I experience both sides of that coin. So I can go between really, really feeling and giving warmth. I explore the desire. I love freely. I am comfortable. I have a lot of staying power, and you know, I have that. As I mentioned earlier, a rise to a very strong heart, that determination, that perseverance that I can achieve whatever I want. And then I go through cycles where, you know, if things don't go the way I want them to go, and I start to distrust, I start to feel disappointed because things didn't turn out my way, let's say. I start to feel a certain coldness towards people where because of that lack of trust, and I put up a boundary, and the desire to be part of a tribe slowly start to fall away from that, and I start to isolate. So these are some of the characteristics of those two sides of that coin, and that's when I realized that there are other elements or other spiritual centers that may need to be further cultivated, further cultivated, so that I can start to control that flip side of one of my dominant chakras, okay? So bear that in mind. Now, let's have a look and see. What is the message for the solar plexus? So you might be feeling that coldness. You might be feeling, you know, that you don't have the confidence that you need. You don't have the ability to get from point A to point B. You don't know how to bridge that gap. It seems so far away. You don't trust yourself enough to take that next step, because that's what it comes down to take that next step and know that you have the ability and the resources, and you have the strength to really, really work through the challenges that come with it, because you've learned from your past experiences, right? So let's have a look and see. Oofed, two flipped out, and I'm taking them both. I don't know what to do about this. I don't know what to do about this. This is the message that I'm getting straight out the gate for you guys. So really stuck in your head. This is about replaying things over and over again and not finding a way out. It has to do with a particular belief system. It could have to do with a relationship or wanting a particular relationship. whether you're single, partnered, or in a situationship. This has to do also, like I said, with a certain belief system that has to do with relationships in general. And there is almost this element that the reason why you are choosing to stand by this belief system is because you know how to respond to it. You know how this plays out. You've learned from your past mistakes or lessons, not mistakes, I take that back. You've learned from your past lessons and you're like, I'm not going to try this again, but I'm going to stick to this path and I'm going to stick to this belief system and I'm going to try a different way. There is almost, and so you are now at that stage where there is excess control over a particular situation because you have applied so many different ways that you're really honing in on this one area. It's like you're wearing blinkers, like a horse wears blinkers. This is the one belief system and it's yes or no now. Every other avenue that you've tried along this path hasn't worked. And so maybe there is a lot of stubbornness here. Maybe there is the inability to see things from a different perspective or to see things through someone else's eyes, right? So what the message I'm getting for you guys is, it is really time to see, to revisit the core essence of who you are and what matters most. As we change, as the seasons change, as we go through cycles, our morals and our values may stay the same, but they need to be flexible. Remember, you need to be, the base chakra reminds me of a massive tree. I don't know, I just get that image in my head of this massive tree. Think of an oak with roots that just run so deep, and it looks so strong and it looks so rooted right to the ground, yet its branches are so flexible and it knows when it's time to shake off those dead leaves because it trusts that the next season brings nourishing and new life to it. Okay, so there is that wisdom. It's time to go back and see, is it time to shake off those leaves now? Because there is a new perspective that needs to be taken into consideration. Expand your thought, expand your mind to the possibility that this belief system served you well, however it needs to be further cultivated, or it needs to be freshened up, you know, to get with your times, to get with your progress. It might just not, it might need to be further developed. And then through that process, you'll really be able to start feeling that spark. Okay, all right, there is hope here. All right, I can let this happen. I can work with this. I can allow these people or this person to show up a little bit differently, and you start to draw on your passion, right? And then the creativity kicks in on these new and different approaches as you open up the doors to a new horizon. So this is actually a very, very good and powerful message for you guys that feel the imbalance in those solar plexus. Do we have? Yes, we do. Oh, it has to do with a relationship, guys. It has to do with love. You know, this is distrust in the person. And what I'm going to leave you with before I pull out one of these cards, the surrender cards, is trying to rebuild. I often say that when trust is broken, you can no longer mend that, okay? It's broken. You need to allow the relationship, whether it be a friendship, whether it be a work relationship, or whether it be an intimate relationship, you need to allow it to form a new identity based on this new now truth. You can't keep following the same principles for that relationship that you had before, because now you have more information. Now things have changed, and knowing who you are and what ignites passion for you will keep you centered. Following your own dreams, your aspirations, and creating your own juicy life is what's going to keep you grounded. And you won't feel the need to control or change someone's mindset or have them aligned to you in a way that suits you, because like that oak, you're willing to shake off what's old. You're willing to let go, release, go with that ebb and flow, because you know that the next cycle is going to bring you something more nourishing, be it with this person or with someone else. This is about facing reality. And so if you're having trouble really letting go of an outdated belief system, you've become obsessive with a person and a goal that you want to achieve with them, and it's not working to your advantage. I mean, you can lean in as much as you want, but really all you're doing is you're further damaging your own self-worth, you're further damaging your own passion, it's taking a hit at your confidence, it's causing you to question yourself, you're moving further and further away from the core essence of who you are. Okay, feel free to reach out. Let's work on some practices that will really help you release and let go, so that you can receive whatever it is that you are waiting to receive. Okay, so let's have a look and see, how can we kickstart this now? The solar plexus, some practices that you can apply right now is, let's say, essential oils associated with the solar plexus are, chamomile, and I drink chamomile for that reason. when I'm losing it, and I can feel that I can feel that, you know, I'm getting that imbalance in my solar plexus where it's dominating in a more negative way. When it's imbalanced, I drink a lot of chamomile. So chamomile is one, and you can drink it, the actual tea, or you can burn the essential oil. Lemon is another, so chamomile and lemon the two things I put in there, along with ginger and honey. I know, weird, right? Lemon, thyme is another one, and ylang ylang. They're the ones I can think of off the top of my head. And then if you wanted to, and you resonate with crystals, you can start carrying around what crystals are associated with the solar plexus. Let's see. It's tiger's eye is one of them, amber is another, citrine, yellow topaz, I believe, and that's all I can think of right now. Okay, so let's have a look and see, what energy do you need to surrender right now that will really help you on this journey? Oh my gosh, same message as the salt as the sacral. So these two are starting to affect each other. You know, they're not bridging because of the block. Surrender to the magic of who you are. Sacral chakra got the same one. We all have magic in us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that come from just being you. So let's talk about that. Okay, because when it comes to the solar plexus, knowing, you know, what makes you unique and what makes you worthy is what makes you attractive. Think about what attracts others to your life. You know, and that sense, that mindset of scarcity will start to go away. You don't need to control certain situations because you're afraid to let them go just in case they're the only one out there for you. That's a scarcity mentality, like thinking that I'm going to hold on to this even if there is so much resistance to the flow, even if they want to go a different way and I want to show them differently, I want to increase my value in their eyes. This is about knowing who you are, not having to project your value. It's about you living your value, living your self-worth, and that will become a very attractive polarity. And so you'll start to shine that, vibrate that, and they'll be caught up in that energy field. Okay, and this is not just them. This will translate to every aspect of your life. So that's a really good start for you. So burning those essential oils, carrying those gemstones or those crystals, if that's something you resonate with, and thinking about what makes you unique, what makes you attractive, is really going to help on that journey. All right, guys, I'm going to jump into the heart chakra. It's my belief, and of course it's just an opinion. Everyone has one, and not everyone agrees with mine, and like I don't agree with everyone else's. But for me, when it comes to having a balanced heart space, the rest of our centers need to be balanced for us to be able to truly forgive, to truly trust, to truly understand, to lean into hope. You know, there is a lot of power in the heart space, and it can only be effective and open to love unconditionally and receive love unconditionally when we know who we are, when we know what sparks, you know, passion in our life, when we're comfortable, when we're confident, when, you know, we're able to tell our headspace when it's time to take a seat, when that inner dialogue becomes way too loud and we need to tell it to take a rest so that we can explore our feelings, right? And we really trust our intuition and understand that we are part of something that's greater. And if this doesn't work today, it doesn't mean that there isn't something around the corner that's going to serve a very good purpose for us. Yeah, so heart chakra, it's a tricky one. And you know, you might be feeling at the moment that you're finding it difficult to just release. You might be holding on to resentment. You might be holding on to anger. You might be saying, but why me? There is that victim mentality. You don't understand why you've been treated the way you have. You can't let go of this injustice, right? On the other hand, you might be experiencing that you want something so badly, you desire it so much that you have a motive as a result. You want a particular outcome and you want to steer someone else or a situation or a goal in that particular direction, right? So if you're experiencing that right now, then there is definitely an imbalance in the heart chakra. So let's pull out some cards and see how we can go about surrendering to what is so that we can heal the dream of what could be, because it's based on a thought. It's not based on the reality of the situation that we're currently facing. So let's have a look and see. What messages do we have for those with an imbalanced heart chakra? And they both fell out. There is a belief system here at play. For those of you that this message is going to connect with, you might be linking stability. You might be linking, let's say, a family unit, a legacy, a relationship, a physical, material accomplishments such as a home and cars and all that kind of stuff, the house with the white picket fence, right, to happiness. And it might be linked to a partnership or an intimate relationship. And so you're constantly reaching. You feel that you cannot experience life in its true fulfillment and true form unless you establish this or you accomplish this with an intimate partner. And this is completely holding you back from stepping into the frequency of living it. So right now you are riding that frequency, that wave of, when I meet someone, I can feel this way. When I meet somebody, I can give my love. When I meet someone, I can receive love of this level. When I meet someone, I can build this type of a home because when we combine our finances, it will be much easier for me to accomplish these things. So your dreams are hinged on something that does not exist right now, one, and two, on someone else's decision to carry out the same dream as you. Now, what that's doing is it's constantly putting you in a space of waiting, but not experiencing. And that lack only grows and grows, and that desire only grows and grows. And that could tip over and into, when in extreme cases, to codependency and the inability to achieve your dreams and aspirations unless this particular person or someone comes along to fulfill them with you. There is this sense of emptiness and a void that can only be filled by the presence of someone else. If only I meet someone that I can really trust, if only I meet someone that I have that deep sense of understanding with, then maybe I can dig on hope, maybe I can dig on that true love. I can forgive the people that it didn't work with in the past, because I'll know what they were setting me up for. So there is a lot hinging on this energy. And the message that I'm getting for you is maybe seeing it from the complete opposite perspective is the key to actually attracting that into your vibration, into your energetic field. You need to ride the same frequency as those that you're trying to manifest. Right now, you're riding the frequency of the problem that you have. You're not riding the frequency of the solution. And we need to put you into that frequency of the solution. So by surrendering what you don't have and putting it aside and just stepping into the frequency of how can I accomplish this, and be the partner or the person or the employee or the boss, whatever it might be. How can I turn into that person that the energy I'm trying to attract would consider in their life? How can I become that? Because if you're thinking about an intimate partner and you're thinking about attracting a certain element, I guess, energy into your life, they obviously have their own standards. So really putting yourself into the frequency of what those standards could be will help you align with the one that's right for you, or the situation that's right for you. I'm also getting the message, guys, that first we need to heal those traumas or whatever it is that we're holding on to from the past that has really kind of taken a toll on our confidence, that we believe that we can't live a fulfilling life without someone else, where we feel we can't do it on our own, right? Whatever caused that to happen in your life, really leaning into that experience, the feelings of that experience, and allowing yourself to nurture it and love it and treat it with understanding. Forgive it for not knowing better. Imagine you have, think about what the inner dialogue is towards those experiences that you had where you didn't know better, and as a result have really taken their toll on your confidence and your ability to love unconditionally, and you know, let go, allow someone else to come towards you because they want to, not because you have something of materialistic gain to offer, or because you have something of true like value that they would benefit from, other than simply being yourself and to be loved as you are, right? So think about those circumstances that really rocked you and rocked that confidence within you, and lean into those emotions and think about when you nurture them and you try and forgive yourself, when you try to heal them. Imagine it being a younger version of yourself. How would you treat a child or someone that is going through some pain and some trauma? Would you suppress? Would you just you know, completely ignore them? Would you lean in and give them a hug? Would you ask them how you can help them, what they need from you? You would encourage them to express how they feel. You would validate that, you know, you would try to soothe them. That same approach, I'm getting the message, that same approach is necessary in your process of healing, releasing and letting go of being so hard on yourself. All right, guys, I'm going to pull out a card now so we can have a look and see what energy do we need to surrender to start off with right now, to kickstart this, to start that process of healing, so you can regain that confidence within yourself that you can achieve this, that you don't need anyone else to achieve it. But if someone comes along, it is, you know, we're biologically created in a way where we share, we're part of a community, you know, to procreate. Basically, even if you don't want to have children, that's fine, but we still have, we're biologically geared that way, is what I'm saying. So having someone in your life that you can share the joys of life with and the challenges with will be a bonus to you. And you're worthy of receiving that. So, what energy would you need to surrender to right now that will help you? Kickstart this off. Surrender negative thinking. The thought, I'm telling you, it's that inner dialogue. I mentioned it earlier. Think about how you're treating the aspects of yourself that you don't like, because it's not allowing you to really embrace your true authentic self, and it's stifling your self-confidence, it's stifling your passion, it's stifling your ability to receive love to its fullest and deepest potential, and not allowing you to reciprocate it because you lack that trust. Okay, so think about how you are talking to yourself about yourself. You have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say thank you for sharing and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. So this is truly about accepting and accepting your emotions and your feelings without judgment, and allowing them to take up space, right? So I'm going to hold up the card for you. Oh, can you see that? Okay. There we go. Oh my goodness. Gee. All right. Take a screenshot of that if you like. You have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say thank you for sharing and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. And some of the things you can do to really start creating some movement and energy in the heart space is breathing space into that center. Breathe space in, just like I say with all the other spiritual centers, just breathe space into it. Imagine you're breathing that vital spark of life, the divine, that is healing, that is accepting, that is non-judgmental, and that is objective. It's neutral. Just breathe that in and imagine it filling your heart space with warmth, allowing the pain or allowing the traumas to come to the surface and be acknowledged. Some of the essential oils you could burn to really enhance this is rose, clary sage is another one, and geranium. And some of the crystals you could carry with you, if you do resonate with that, are green, emerald, green jade, rose quartz is another one. Yep, that's all I can think of off the top of my head. So if you guys are having difficulty really leaning into your emotions and exploring them because you're fearful that they have of where those feelings can take you. Sometimes we're afraid of our emotions taking over, and our headspace kind of wants to protect us and put them back in their place and really suffocate and stifle them. And you're worried about exploring feeling, feel free to reach out, and we can work through that space of leaning into your emotions rather than keeping them at arm's length. All right, guys, I'm going to move on to the throat chakra now. And moving on from the heart space, where we were talking about that inner dialogue, you know, when the throat chakra is imbalanced, it basically doesn't give the other elements or chakras or spiritual centers enough space to exist in. It takes over. So this is your protector. I want you to imagine this is a security guard that stands at the door and basically decides what is safe to come in and what isn't. First, it must be processed through the head space before it meets the heart space. And depending on how powerful or how dominant the head space is, it really can become extremely controlling. So if you're experiencing a lack of connection to your heart space, to your solar plexus, to your sacral, it's because it's trying to protect stability, it's trying to protect safety, it's trying to, you know, keep you grounded, and anything that comes in that could shake that up is a threat, and your mind starts to go into overdrive and create scenarios that might not even exist. So let me pop these cards away. You could be experiencing that. Another thing you could be experiencing is that, you know, you might be very objective when it comes to your relationships with everyone, intimate partner, colleagues, friendships, where if things don't, you know, if 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, then guess what? It doesn't equal 2. I don't care how I feel about it. What I care is the matter of the problem. The matter of the problem is that it doesn't add up. The equation does not add up. And so if the equation doesn't add up and it's not good for me, then it's got to go. And we completely dismiss the emotion because we know that it could cause us pain. So if that's something you're experiencing, it's truly not allowing you to, you know, really experience passion, really experience that desire to kick things off and get things going, and to really love and connect on an emotional level. So let's have a look and see. For those of you with an imbalanced throat chakra, and that's all I will take. Yes, a lot of time is spent in this communication. You move forward. This is how it works for you. I have a belief system. I move forward with determination. I know what I want to achieve. I know where I'm going. I know that what's ahead of me is far better than what's behind me. I've learnt my lessons and I'm not going to repeat them. And as a result, I stand firm to my standards, I stand firm to my morals, I stand firm to my values, and I dismiss anything that does not align with me. And the thing is that you have this opportunity coming your way to communicate on with. It could be work, it could be relationships, applied however it resonates for you, if it resonates, to communicate on another level. And yet your headspace is definitely taking over and not allowing passion or hope or the, you know, where could this take me to come up. Very heavily dominant in the mindset. Very, very heavily dominant. Okay, I think I want to pull out one more card for this. I also feel that because of, yeah, okay, cool. Because of the heads, because there is so much going on, the headspace is so dominant, and it's not only allowing the lower chakras to take their place and be in existence as they need to be, allowing yourself to be you, to really uncover who you are, free of fear, free of your traumas from the past. You are taking your traumas and your fears with you in every situation that you're in. You might think that you're leaving them behind by protecting yourself, but what you're actually doing is you're bringing your fears front row and center, okay? You're bringing your experiences and your traumas front row and center, and you're saying, this is what happened last time, so guess what? I've learnt my lesson and I'm not going to experience that again. I remember what it felt like. I don't allow myself to forgive. I don't allow myself to forget. I don't allow myself to get caught up in impulse, you know, and to, you know, just take off with whatever feels good in that moment and let passion take control. Because you know what? I might end up feeling unstable, fearful of my security and my safety, and I never want to experience that again. So you're taking all of this with you into your current, into the current present moment. You know, your head, your heart, your soul, it does not understand time. It doesn't understand that it was in the past. All it knows is what it's experiencing inside of itself. So if you're taking, if you're remembering, if you're holding on to things that have happened and you use them on a constant to remember what not to do, your being thinks that you're experiencing it in the here and now. And so Spirit wants you to know that, you know, allow passion to come in. Whatever comes your way that stirs up, you know, you feel it in here in your belly, you feel it in your solar plexus and in your sacral, and you feel like you feel the passion being ignited by a thought, by an idea, by a person. Go with it. Go with the feeling. It doesn't mean that you have to go with the person or you have to trust the situation. It just means that you're allowing your other spiritual centers to take up space. Through there, you learn to you know, what you really are enjoying. Because none of, you know, when this is so dominant, we find it difficult to experience joy and what really inspires and pushes us towards creativity. It's all about what is going to give us the result that we need, right? Okay, so let's pull out a card and see what energy would you need to surrender right now to kickstart this process of really opening up that throat chakra, and allowing it to be the gateway for not only your intuition, because I feel that you don't trust your intuition anymore. You don't trust, you know, you may have trusted your intuition in the past and thought, yep, this was right, this is definitely for me, and it turned out not to be. And so you stop trusting that inner voice, and that inner dialogue can be quite harsh, or it can definitely just shut it out. So allowing that throat chakra to really open, to allow for the higher spiritual centers to filter through and become a little bit stronger within that intuition and that inner voice, and allow for the other centers to take up space. What energy would you need to surrender to start off with to really kick this off? Some of the essential oils you could burn that will really complement this process is lavender, sandalwood, sage. They're the ones I can think of right now. And crystals, if you resonate with crystals that you can just carry around, are blue. They're blue. They're aquamarine. What else is blue that I can think of? Turquoise. And that's all I can think of, guys. I'm sure there's more. All right, what energy do you need to surrender to right now to really kickstart this process? Let's have a look. Surrender comparisons with other people. This is interesting because I don't feel that you're comparing yourself. Okay, I'm going to hold this card up for you to see. Yeah, I don't feel that you're actually comparing yourself to other people. I think you're comparing other people to certain scenarios from your past and how they are very alike. So you think about partners, you think about maybe employers or friendships from your past that burnt you basically, and there are certain characteristics or personality traits that are cause for a red flag for you, and you dismiss people that and compare them based on those shared qualities. Spirit wants you to surrender these comparisons. Keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your own strengths, attractiveness, and willpower. So even though this message is about you comparing yourself to other people, what I feel the message is for you is to focus on allowing yourself to, telling your headspace basically to take a back seat, watching that inner dialogue and allowing people the opportunity to show up differently. Just because someone shares a personality trait or that had a negative result, it doesn't mean that everyone's going to make that choice. You know, we all have those positive thoughts and those negative thoughts, and it's our choices that build our character. So every new person that comes into your life, while they bring those negative traits with them or those negative thoughts, doesn't mean they'll act upon them. They may choose to act differently, and that's what builds their character. So allowing them to show you before you dismiss them is going to really help build that trust. It's going to help you build the ability to listen to your inner self, to your inner voice, to your higher self, to follow your intuition. It's going to help you forgive. It's going to help you stay in the present also. All right, guys, I'm going to leave this one here if you found that helpful. And this is maybe an energy you really want to further explore and really apply practices that will help you drop that energy, drop the base of that energy from the headspace, and allowing your throat to open up so you can rebalance all your other elements. So elements and spiritual centers. Feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you work through that. Moving on to the third eye chakra. And you know, this is the center of the I know. I just know. There is just this gut instinct that I have this inner knowing that I just need to follow this path, right? It's about really having another level of awareness and allowing yourself to listen to your intuition. For one, I often do this. I have a day where I clear my schedule completely and I go with my intuition. I allow my intuition to take front and center stage, because it's not only part of my job, but because I work with energy and other people's energy on the collective and one-on-one all the time, it's important for me to disconnect from that and to follow my very own intuition for myself. And so what I do is I allocate a day where I get up in the morning, I put my to-do list away, and I'm like, I'm going to follow my intuition today on what feels right and let it take me where it needs to take me, and see what path is being unfolded for myself. So that's what this spiritual center is about. And applying practices, let's say, such as the one that I apply, can be really helpful in not stifling the intuition and not getting it mixed up between that voice in the back of your head and your higher self and that inner voice, that gut feeling, separating the two, because a lot of people have difficulty knowing, but is it my head or is it my intuition? And that's one way that you can do that. To further develop the third eye and your intuition, let's say, you could burn essential oils such as jasmine, basil, patchouli, rosemary, and some of the gemstones you can carry around if you feel that you're imbalanced in this area, because you completely reject spirituality. It has caused you, and this follows through from the, overthinking, you know, being too much in your head and not allowing space for the other spiritual centers. So let's say you completely stifle your intuition and that inner voice because you don't trust it anymore. And you basically focus on the facts and science for a result, right? So some of the gemstones you could also carry around that could help you tap into the intuition or enhance that process is indigo sapphire, opal is another one, lapis lazuli, and that's all I can think of right now. So let's have a look and see. For those of you that are feeling that, you know what, I'm not listening to my intuition. We saw what happened the last time. This is the dialogue, right? You see what happened the last time you trusted your gut. Look where it took you. It took you down a path of a broken heart and feeling completely lost and alone. That's a dialogue, right? Focus on the facts, focus on what you see in front of you, and you know what? You just match someone else's effort. Nothing more, nothing less. You only trust what's directly in front of you in that moment. Completely stifles hope. And you know, that approach is very helpful. Very, very helpful to a degree though. Not when it is completely suppressing emotion and feeling. Alright. Let's pull out some cards. And let's have a look. Okay guys, my camera is about to die. So I may need to pause it in just a second so I can change the battery pack, but I'm hoping to get the cards pulled out before I do that. All right, let's have a look and see. Can I get 2 cards for those with an imbalanced third eye chakra? Yes, I can. I can. We've got the 2 of Cups and the 10 of Wands. All right. Changing my battery pack now. I'm back. So the 2 of Cups and the 10 of Wands. And what I'm feeling here is you basically, it has to do with a relationship. It definitely has to do with a relationship. And it's your person, you know, and a lot of hope and a lot of dreams were invested in this relationship or are invested in this relationship. Somewhere along the line, things started to go off course, and I feel that dreams were shattered, okay? And there is a massive distrust. You're reassessing everything you basically believed, not just about this relationship, but about this person. Sorry, not just about this relationship, but about your approach to relationships, your belief system when it comes to relationships. You're definitely rejecting your spirituality right now, and in your feelings about this. You've gone into this protective mode. You've gone into this cave so that you can just protect yourself from thoughts or circumstances, I should say, that could potentially, you know, circumstances that put you in a vulnerable situation. You don't want to be left vulnerable. You're already hurt. You're already questioning things. You already don't know what to believe. You don't know what is the reality of the situation. Is what they say true? Are their motives pure? Are you processing this information at face value? Is there something you're missing? These are all the things that are going through your head right now. So let's have a look and see, you know, how can we start the process of recalibrating, finding our way back to what really matters to us, the core essence of what really matters, what makes us feel secure, what makes us feel stable. And you can see that no matter where you are, no matter what phase, no matter what cycle, no matter what you're experiencing, being able to go back to your true identity, to your true roots, is what is key to resetting, to setting a new course. You know, it's the key to creating those boundaries that are needed to make you feel safe within yourself. Because you could be around people right now, and this is what I'm feeling, you could be around people right now that are giving you love, that are giving you safety, that are giving you the nurturing that you need, and you still feel very fearful. So let's have a look and see what energy would you need to surrender to right now so you can start to, you know, really work through that haze, really work through that fogginess, the misconception, the reality, all those kinds of things that can help you get back to your core. And if this is something that you're having difficulty doing and trusting and finding your way back to yourself, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you through that process. Now, another thing is, you know, this is something that you need to surrender to the time that it needs to take for you to experience what you're currently experiencing. We don't want to fast pace this, ignore it, and leap into action. You need to be able to experience the feeling and the circumstances in the moment, right? But we don't want to pitch a tent there either. All right. So let's have a look and see what energy can you surrender to right now that will really help you find your way back to yourself, as we mentioned, and allow for yourself to start entrusting in that intuition, the gut feeling, your higher self, that inner knowing. Surrender to silence. In quiet meditation or contemplation, let go and enter the stillness within. Silence can heal and replenish you. How appropriate is that? And I'm going to hold up that card. Hopefully it's focused okay. But yeah, straight off the bat, I completely feel that if you've gone into a cave because you need to protect yourself right now, that is probably the best place to be, if that's what you're feeling. If you're not feeling, if you don't feel that it's right to communicate, to express emotion, to allow yourself to fall into a trap and act on impulse and desire, because it's threatening your stability, then surrender to that silence. Ask for that space. Take that space that you need so that you can re-find yourself. Doing some meditation, whatever meditation looks like for you. You know, some of us meditate to heavy metal. It allows for our feelings to really come to the surface, and then we can work through them. Whatever meditation looks like for you. Put on some frequency music. Meditate with, you know, meditate on the third eye chakra. There are heaps on YouTube that you can, guided meditations that you can tune into, right? So, and surrender to that silence. Look at this card, you know, take a screenshot of this card, meditate on that energy of the message. Look at the colors, look at the image on the card. What feelings, what emotions come up? What is trying to be communicated here from your higher self? And how can that help you find your way back to yourself and what really matters, and you know, really ground your energy from what the illusion is to the reality of the situation and what's actually happening, what's at true face value. All right, guys, I hope you found that one helpful. I'm going to move on to the crown chakra now. Crown chakra, the very last one, and you'd think that after channeling for over an hour and talking like I have verbal diarrhea non-stop, I'd be feeling tired and depleted. But in fact, I absolutely love these types of readings. So much value and help that I can offer. I'm hoping that it's resonated with you and you found something within it helpful. But I feel completely energized. And in fact, I'm going to go ground my energy by doing the gardening after this. Something I did forgot to mention, aside from the essential oils and crystals, there are also foods that can assist and enhance the process of rebalancing our spiritual spiritual centers, and I'll briefly go through those. So for the base chakra, foods that are sweet by nature are really helpful. So we're talking about, when we say sweet by nature, we mean they don't include added sugar or are overly processed. Foods that complement the sacral would be salty foods. You know, the element associated with the sacral chakra is water, and too much water has us in our feelings, as we know. So we want some salt to really dry up or pull out that excess water. So salty foods for the sacral. Solar plexus, we're looking at bitter foods because the element associated with the solar plexus is fire. So bitter foods tend to help reduce heat and inflammation. So where there is too much heat, that's how bitter foods can be of help. Heart chakra, so pungent foods, they really do help cleanse, and they help purify, and they help clear out anything that obstructs the natural flow of energy. Anything that's stopping you from forgiving, from loving, from receiving, from trusting. It'll really help clear everything out and only allow for the pure and the the pure to be circulated through that spiritual center. The throat chakra, we've got bitter foods, or pungent foods actually as well. Both of them are related to the air element, and yeah, bitter and pungent. Now, the third eye chakra, what could you have for the third eye? Third eye, broccoli, kale, carrots, purple grapes, eggplant, plums. Those are the types of foods that help rebalance the third eye chakra. And the crown would be dark bluish types of fruits like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, very light, you know, associated with ether, associated with so very light types of fruits and foods. Grape juice is another one. Some spices you could add would be poppy seeds, and they're considered perfect for that chakra. So anyhow, let's jump into it. So those of you that are having or feeling that you don't belong, okay, it doesn't matter who you're connecting with, you don't know what your place is here, you don't know what your purpose is, you're searching beyond yourself for a reason for your existence. You find that it's reaching the point that, you know, even intimate relationships or friendships are not fulfilling. You cannot find that inner fulfillment. There is a void. It's a vast void, and it has to do with your connection to not only people, but on a larger scale, the connection you have with your soul's contract, and knowing that this is what ignites passion, and this is something that I want to follow in my lifetime. A lot of you that might be experiencing this may have this desire to be of service, and so being of service can or roles that are of service can sometimes be very depleting of energy, can sometimes be very demanding. So we think about the nurses, we think about police officers, we think about firefighters, we think about army officers. I mean, you know, very traumatic, very depleting, very demanding type of roles, and being of service. And then there are others that are wanting to be of service in this type of way, you know, where you give back on a spiritual level, allow people to connect with their spirituality. So the core of this is going back to the root of the problem, and exploring what really matters to us, and follow the path that ignites the passion enough for you to get up in the morning. Now, this is a neutral energy. This is where you are connected to the universe. When balanced, you possess knowledge beyond words and intellect, right? I mentioned that, and it's about pure consciousness. You feel unified, you feel that you belong, and that you know that you're a reflection of the divine, and that you have a purpose, and there is a good reason why you take up space here. There is something that you serve in this lifetime. So if you're not feeling that, then there is definitely an imbalance here. So let's have a look and see. For those of you that are feeling lost, for those of you that are not feeling connected, what is the message that we have? How can we help those of you out there to find the passion for the purpose? And you know what? Oh, beautiful cards, guys. Absolutely beautiful. I often say this. For me, when someone says, I don't know what my purpose is, I just say your purpose is to get up in the morning and feel passionate about what you have going on right here and right now. If you don't feel passionate right here and right now, you're not working towards your purpose, because we change, we evolve, and so does our I guess, so do our goals. In some essences, so does the purpose. You know, we start off thinking that something is our purpose, and as we walk towards it and our consciousness expands, we seek an alternative route. Now, if we've put all our eggs in that one basket, that is our purpose, and regardless of whether we feel passionate or not, we don't follow it, we continue to follow it, then it's not taking us in the direction that Spirit wants us to go in. So I often say, whatever gets you up in the morning, that's what level you're vibrating at. That's what brings you passion at that time. Keep following that passion. Keep following that, whatever it is that really gets you makes you hit the ground running. Keep going that way, and the path will unfold, and your consciousness will expand. And if you know what your vision is, as far as you want to be of service, you want to give back in a certain way, be very flexible with that and see what it brings you, right? Okay, so the cards that you got here, Ten of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, and the Magician. Absolutely beautiful energy. And the reason why I say this, as above, so beyond, you know, they often say that, is the magician a real person? I've heard this before. And it's about, you know, whatever the magician puts to mind, whatever he wants to manifest, he has absolutely everything that he needs to turn that dream, turn that manifestation into something with a tangible result. And so Spirit wants you to know that we start off by cutting out anything that doesn't give us the stability, the security, and the safety that we need. This is about building a legacy. This is about survival of, let's say, a family line. That's how I see it, because we have the mother and the father, the dogs, the children, and the grandfather. This is the legacy, where you continue to create and nurture, and it continues to grow and expand. Okay, so cut out whatever in your life does not give you that sense of security, does not add, you know, value to the goal, to the purpose that you're working towards. Once you've identified that, live a purposeful life. Every decision that you make needs to have a purpose in serving you and the community beyond yourself, in a way that is far greater than just you. So engaging in things of instant gratification, of just going with the whim, in hope that it will take you towards what your purpose is, and that feeling of belonging, is probably not going to serve you. Instead, going within and identifying what really matters, and having that as your starting point, and knowing what is this legacy you want to leave behind, knowing what is your place in this universe at this time, in this lifetime, What is it that you want to leave? How do you want to be remembered? Even if it's to just 10 or 15 people, how is it that you want to be remembered? And start living that. Follow that. And as passion ignites, follow that path, and the purpose will unfold. Cutting out what doesn't serve and what is a distraction to that is going to be key to you really establishing a sense of belonging, to not feeling lost, to not feeling that you don't matter, because you do matter, and to knowing that you are worthy of taking up space. Remembering on this journey that you have everything that you need. You're not lacking in any way. You are not invisible. You are, you know, you are, yeah. So you're not invisible. There is a reason why you're here. There is a reason why you've been brought into this lifetime. And you just need to believe in yourself and believe that what you have to offer is going to serve a purpose to those before and after you. Okay, so let's pull out a card and let's have a look and see how can we really go about kickstarting this process for you. If there are those of you that are really resonating with this and you're finding it difficult to find that sense of belonging, to really hone in on what your true identity is, that is actually one of the areas that I specialize in. I would love to help you through that process. Feel free to reach out. Let's have a look and see. What energy do you need to surrender to right this very moment that will help you kickstart this process? Some of the essential oils you can burn. I don't know if I mentioned this. Did I mention it? I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. Frankincense is one. Lotus is another that I can think of. I can't really think of any others, to be honest with you. I know there's more though. Gemstones or crystals that you could carry or work with, if that's something you resonate with, are amethyst, topaz, sapphire, and that's all I can think of right now. Okay, so what energy do you need to surrender to right this very moment? I can't take all those because there's too many. Before I close this reading out, guys, I really wanted to thank you today for sticking around for this reading. I feel incredibly honored to be of service, and really do hope that you can find messages that help you here. Surrender stubbornness. If you're tensing up or taking a rigid stance about something, gently observe yourself and become more yielding. This will help you communicate more lovingly with others and yourself. I love this for you, and I'll tell you why. Because it is those reactions that our body has that alert us to states of discomfort, that we're not in the right place with the right people for our greatest good. If you are tensing up and taking a rigid stance to something, it's time to be objective. It's time to take a deep breath, relax those shoulders, and think about how this person is going to contribute to your sense of belonging. Are they going to contribute to your sense of belonging? Are you tensing up because you're shutting them out, because you are feeling that no matter, you have that mindset of no matter who I meet or who I come into contact with, I don't feel connected? Are you shutting them out for that reason? Or is your higher self trying to tell you that this person or this situation isn't aligning with you? So pay attention to that. Bring yourself into the present. Pay attention to your body and what it's trying to communicate with you. Drop your shoulders and allow for your higher self to communicate what it is, what the message is here, and where you need to be more yielding with yourself, right? And allow yourself to communicate, your higher self to communicate to you. Listen to those messages and follow those messages, and where you feel that you need to yield and be more open and allowing the others opportunity to show you differently, accept that and allow that to unfold. Listen to that. So I'll hold up the card for you. Well, there's a bit of a reflection there. I'm just going to hold it on an angle and I'll just focus the camera. So feel free to take a screenshot of that if you like, and you can meditate on that energy. And that is all. I hope you guys found today helpful. Like I said, incredibly honored to be of service and hopefully of help. Please do leave a comment below. I love reading your comments, and I'll see you for your next lot of readings. Bye guys.